We're just hours from tip-off as the Hogs get ready to take on the Red Raiders. This morning, we'll take you to San Francisco. Courtside as Coach Chau and the team get ready for the Sweet 16.
Hogs basketball and beautiful weather back here at home. Daytime highs, low to mid-80s and some sunshine. That's coming up.
What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States.
And more tariffs announced on all imported cars and trucks, sparking concern and uncertainty among auto dealers. We'll have the details ahead.
Taking a live look outside in Ozark, a favorite shot in the morning times because of sunrise. The camera catches it just perfect. Good morning. 5 News This Morning starts now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, hey, happy Thursday. Thanks so much for waking up with us. Those sunrises getting better and better each day. This week we've been lucky. Every day there's a beautiful one out there.
Yes, and that Ozark view is so great. It's one of our best eye cams, I think.
Yeah. Are you going to give us more good news, or are you squashing our dreams here with some rain?
When it comes to sunrise, probably not the best news you want to hear, but today's like the most perfect day that we've had in a while. We'll have 80s, we'll have a mix of some sunshine tomorrow, though. That's when we have those rain chances back into the forecast. As for today, current temperatures as you head out the door, starting off into those mid-50s across the area. Really not too bad for us this morning. By the time we get to this afternoon, that's when we'll climb all the way up into those low to mid-80s. Should be very comfortable for us today. 57 currently there in Springdale, 54 in Rogers, 53 in Charleston, 57 there in Springdale, and 55 there in Spiro as well. All right, here's a look at what we're tracking over the next couple of days. Warm and sunny for us today. Absolutely gorgeous outside. Tomorrow, a little bit of a different story. We're going to have more in the way of some rain chances. It's not going to be a washout, but there is going to be extra cloud coverage. It is going to be cooler, and you might want to have that umbrella with you throughout the day. By the time we get to the weekend, though, storm chances increasing. Really thinking that window is still going to be between late Saturday night and going through Sunday morning as well. By the time we get to Sunday afternoon into the evening hours, most of that storm risk looks to be further off towards central and eastern parts of the state. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today looks absolutely gorgeous. Daytime highs into those low 80s, a mix of sun and clouds by the time we get to this afternoon. Across the River Valley, looks like this, comfortable for the morning hours. By the time we get to this afternoon, it is going to be very spring-like into those mid-80s. Going to be our warmest day by far this week. Just a mix of sun and clouds today. Absolutely gorgeous to get outside. Let's get you a traffic update this morning. Here's a live look out across portions of the River Valley here in I-540 there in Rogers Avenue. No accidents to report to you this morning. No slowdowns either. Overall, should be a nice morning commute.
All right, we're hours away from the Razorbacks, hopefully taking their next step in the NCAA. I think we have a good shot.
I think so, too. My bracket says otherwise, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
All right, this morning we're getting you prepared for that tip-off tonight.
Well, let's check in with 5 News Sports Director Alex Stewart. He's in San Francisco with the preparations underway.
The day is here, and how sweet it is. Arkansas facing off against Texas Tech in the Sweet 16 later tonight. The Razorbacks, of course, punching their ticket to the West Coast with wins over Kansas and St. John's in the opening round of the NCAA tournament last weekend, showing the country what Hogs fans have known this whole time. The team can play with and beat the best in the nation. However, to beat the Red Raiders, Arkansas will have to figure out how to solve an issue they've struggled with all season: physicality. There have been games where the Hogs have just been flat out bullied, allowing for easy points or putting them in foul trouble. Arkansas has been planning accordingly, though, showing aggression and toughness throughout Wednesday's practice. But Tech isn't a one-trick team. They can also shoot the three, meaning Arkansas can't just crowd the paint to stop that presence down low. It is a difficult puzzle to figure out, but you would expect nothing less this late into March.
We know they're a very good team, very good offensively and very disciplined, very well coached. And really just going there, we know we're going to have to be very disciplined as well, just making sure we prepare and pay attention as much as possible in film and stuff like that, just knowing that if we make any little mistakes, they're going to capitalize off them.
Tip-off for this one set for 9:09 from right here in the Chase Center from San Francisco. I'm Alex Stewart, 5 News Sports.
Thanks for that, Alex. Well, make sure you tune in tonight as we get ready for all things Sweet 16. 5 News is courtside, live from the Bay. 5 News Sports Director Alex Stewart will have everything you need to know leading up to the big game. Now, make sure you tune in this evening, 5:30, right here on Channel 5 and on 5+, as we take you live to San Francisco ahead of the Hogs matchup.
Former head Razorback women's basketball coach Mike Neighbors has a new job. The Los Angeles Sparks announced that he will now serve as an assistant coach on the WNBA team. You'll remember Neighbors resigned from his position with Arkansas back on March 11th after finishing his 8th season with the Razorbacks. Neighbors was hired ahead of the 2017-18 season and boasted a 148-114 record while at Arkansas. He led the team to a pair of NCAA tournament appearances and 2 trips to the WNIT. At the Arkansas Capitol, Senator Tom Cotton and Tennessee Congressman David Kustoff introduced the Cell Phone Jamming Reform Act this week. They say the use of cell phones in prison is widespread in both federal and state areas.
The Cell Phone Jamming Reform Act will allow state and federal correctional facilities to use targeted cell phone jamming equipment in prison housing facilities. The precision of this jamming equipment will render contraband cell phones useless for criminals in prison without interrupting the normal communications of law enforcement and emergency first responders in the area.
Lawmakers say inmates have used cell phones to conduct illegal activities, including ordering hits on people outside of the prison, running illegal drug operations, and organizing escapes.
Well, 34,000 applications have been submitted for the 25-26 Learns vouchers in Arkansas. The number jumped not long after the application period opened this year. EFAs, or school choice vouchers, were first introduced by the Governor's Learns Act. The vouchers allow students and their families to fund their chosen education options, which could include public, private, parochial, or homeschool education. There's also a high retention rate reported for the program, with 90% of students renewing their EFA account for the next school year. A local post on social media with the hashtag Justice for Mr. Chau. It's gone viral. Chau Win is a former greeter at Walmart, and recently he was fired after nearly 11 years on the job. If you've ever shopped at the Walmart on MLK in Fayetteville, you may know him. Well, recently, Chau was fired for violating Walmart policy. Employees cannot detain or harass customers suspected of shoplifting, and they have a no-touch policy. Chau acknowledges that he was wrong and should have complied with policy, but some customers have started a petition to help him get his job back.
I know. From the bottom of my heart, I'm 1% responsible over my doing. Okay, I don't blame to customers or to Walmart. No, it's my own action.
You know, sometimes you got to bend those rules a little bit. And when he's put this much commitment into your company, and you literally fired him because of his commitment to your company, he saw your money walking out the door.
So we reached out to Walmart for its side of the story. A spokesperson declined comment. However, Chau is able to reapply for his position in 2 months, which he says he plans to do. In national news this morning, President Trump is amping up the trade wars. He's announcing 25% tariffs on all imported cars and trucks.
The move is sparking concern and uncertainty among auto dealers. Political reporter Tom Waite has more on what economists and dealers are saying.
What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States.
President Trump ramping up the tariff trade war, fulfilling a campaign promise, one he claims will spur auto companies into manufacturing their products in the U.S.
Business is coming back to the United States so that they don't have to pay tariffs. This will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen before.
The 25% tariffs are set to go into effect on April 2nd on all vehicles assembled in other countries and on all parts made in other countries and imported to the U.S. The White House claims the import tax will bring in an additional $100 billion to the U.S. economy, but most economists disagree. They say consumers will bear the costs of the tariffs. According to Cox Automotive, the average car could cost $6,000 more if built in Canada or Mexico. Jessica Caldwell is an analyst with Edmunds.
And I think anybody that is having to repair their vehicle or just service their vehicle are going to experience higher costs as well, and probably insurance. You think you get into one accident, that's a lot of parts. Those are all going to be affected by the tariff.
So what could the tariffs do to the price of your next new vehicle? Well, it all depends. Let's look at the Toyota RAV4. That's the top-selling vehicle here in California last year. If it was assembled in Japan, Mexico, or Canada, you could pay the maximum tax, 25%. But you won't face the maximum tariff if your RAV4 was assembled in the U.S. Many are built in Kentucky. The RAV4 may still cost more than it does now if it contains parts that were made in Japan, Mexico, or Canada, because imported parts also face new tariffs. Southern California auto dealers like Brandon Wishengrad are stocking up. His inventory will last him 3 months. He spoke with CBS News correspondent Carter Evans.
If a customer comes in now and says, how long are the prices going to be steady on these cars, what would you tell them?
It's tough to say. We know just as much as anybody else does.
Well, President Trump continues to downplay the growing concern stemming from the Atlantic's editor, Jeffrey Goldberg, being mistakenly added to a group chat on Signal, where top Trump officials discussed sensitive military operations. Goldberg has published more messages from the chat, including some where Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth detailed the specific times F-18 fighter jets would launch to strike a target terrorist.
They're saying nothing happened. I'm saying that this represents a serious breach in national security.
CBS News has learned the top Republican and Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee are pushing for a classified briefing and expedited Inspector General report on this incident.